The B-29. There have been some very big bombers in the United States military that were put together. Aircraft could not fly. So among other things, some of the technology that made the B-29 SuperFortress so very, very important and cutting edge was that the cabin area where the crew worked was pressurized, like in airliners we have today. Prior to that, there were no pressurized aircraft in the United States military. Doug Rosendahl coming down here. Spitfires, and the carrier then flew an oval path to the carrier with a pilot looking through the downward crook in the wing to see the landing area. Now, watch as Doug Rosendahl folds the wings up on the Corsair out there to the left to make room for more aircraft on the deck of the carrier. That's how they did that. All right, cameras ready, hold them sideways. The B-29 SuperFortress brought an end to the war in the Pacific with a very daring 1,500-mile trip to drop 2 different atomic bombs, the first time atomic bombs were actually used. August 6, 1945, and August 9, 1945, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After August 6th and the dropping of the bomb on Hiroshima, it was thought that the people of Japan would surrender, but that was not the case. So a second atomic bomb was loaded aboard another B-29. It was called Boxcar. The first one was called Enola Gay, and that aircraft is on display at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. The Boxcar that dropped the second atomic bomb 3 days later on Nagasaki, Japan, which did bring Japan to its knees finally, is on display at the National Museum of the United States Air Force at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. So it's basically a 2-hour, a little more than 2-hour drive from here to go see that museum. It is fantastic. People have said to me time after time, why did we drop the atomic bomb and kill so many people? What many don't realize is that there was in the planning stages, advanced planning stages, a full-scale assault on Japan. And the estimates of casualties were going to exceed 1 million people. A fraction of that number died in the 2 bombs. It was brutal, but it brought an end to the war. From the left, one of 2 B-29s still flying in the world today. This one called Doc. Nearly 4,000 B-29s were produced. Honor the men and women who built, maintained, and flew the B-29 to protect our nation's freedom and security. We're going to get a chance to see Doc come by in a photo pass. By the way, as I would mention, World War II began to open the doors for women in the workplace. Here's a fact that I did not know. During the height of production in Wichita during World War II, Boeing was building 4.5 completed B-29 SuperFortresses per day, with a workforce that was 80% female. In addition to the advancement in pressurization, it had a very, very advanced remote control fire control system. Another huge advance in technology. From the left, let's take a look as Doc comes by for a photo pass. Look at this.
Here's a B-29 pilot. He's measuring the distance between pin centers on the left landing gear. This part of the job isn't so glamorous, but it's the pilot's responsibility to make sure that everything on this biggest bomber in the world works properly. If you were a B-29 pilot, here's exactly what you'd have to do before an operational flight. Check the nose wheel. See that the tires are inflated to 45 to 50 pounds per square inch. While measuring the pressure, look over the tires for general condition also.